Hey Pisces, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your May 2023 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology, so I am referring to Pisces rising. When I refer to the houses and where the activity is happening, it's based on Pisces rising. This is also applicable to Pisces moon and Pisces sun. If you don't know your rising sign, you can go to any one of the free birth calculators on the internet. You just need your exact time of birth and location to determine that information. Also, when I talk about a day and a time, I'm referring to the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location on the planet. May is a big month. We've got a lot going on. Jupiter is going to move into Taurus for the next year or plus. Pluto's retrograding. We have our last eclipse, the lunar eclipse going on, and we have a shift in the moon cycles. Thank you, Molly McCord, for that information. So let me jump right in. On May 1st, Pluto is in Aquarius, and it's stayed at the 0 degree of Aquarius since it entered Aquarius in March. It's going to retrograde back into Capricorn. It will re-enter Capricorn in June 11th, and it will remain in Capricorn until October. And in October, it will then move forward again, ultimately re-entering Aquarius in January 2024. So this is all happening in your 12th house. The 12th house rules, you rule the 12th house. It rules creativity, dreamy energy. It's very mutable and watery and fanciful and whimsical. And in some ways, it's very, it's a place where we don't always see things clearly. The 12th house is the house behind the house of self, and it's where things happen unconsciously. They're beyond our conscious awareness. So Pluto here is giving you an opportunity to really rebirth yourself in a much more powerful way. Pluto rules power and control. It rules Scorpio. It's a very intense sign, or a very intense planet, in that it goes down into a deep psychological imprint, and it's relentless. It will not back down until that imprint has been recognized and transformed. So here for my Pisces, as you know, Aquarius is your 12th house. I'm sorry. Yes, your 12th house. And then your 11th house is Capricorn. So I want to refer to this as Pluto going through the house of your hopes and your dreams, the 11th house, and really deconstructing any hopes and dreams that were built on a platform that doesn't actually put you as a priority in that dream. My biggest challenge with Pisces is that Pisces is so empathetic. It is a natural empath, and so it feels all the energies around it. And sometimes you're like a sponge and you absorb these energies, and then they start to feel like they're yours, and they're really not yours. So I think Pluto will traverse your 12th house for 20 years, really offering you an opportunity to rebirth yourself from a much more spiritually aware place. And I say that because Aquarius is also very futuristic. So as Pluto moves into your 11th house and sort of breaks down any barriers that keeps you from your hopes and your dreams, when it moves into that 12th house, it's going to birth you into a much more powerful energy. And this is where I think Pisces starts to transform their dreamy energy from something that seems a little bit out of touch with human reality into the awareness that you create your human reality. And it could very well offer you an opportunity to start to birth a creative aspect of yourself that you have not let come to the surface yet. So that's super powerful. We have on the 5th a lunar eclipse in your 9th house. Your 9th house is Scorpio. We've had a series of eclipses that started in 2022 on the Scorpio-Taurus axis, and this, I believe, is our last one on this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Now, it's at the 14th degree. And to me, this is the Venusian degree, a degree where I'm really looking at my self-worth and what I believe about myself. And when it comes to Pisces, oftentimes Pisces, there's this feeling of being of service to the point of depletion, to the point of invisibility. And I think this is where this eclipse is going to illuminate something and ask you to step up into your power and to rewrite your beliefs about yourself and to move psychologically into a new foreign land you've never been before. The eclipse by nature is Mars ruled. And this, and I say that Pluto rules Scorpio, but Mars is the co-ruler. Now we had an Aries solar eclipse at 29 degrees in April, on the April 19th. That's two eclipses with Mars's influence in a big way. So I feel as if that Mars energy is asking me to be brave and courageous and pioneering and to be a little bit more self-focused in my endeavors. And I think this is a bit of a stretch for Pisces, to be honest with you. I feel like putting yourself first doesn't really happen very often. And if it does happen, there might be even a layer underneath that where you think you're dealing or addressing your own personal needs, but somewhere you're addressing other people's needs as well. Because the sun is going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and Taurus is your third house, Pisces. So this is going to be an opportunity to really look at how you think, how you interact with your communities, your workmates, your teammates, your siblings, your cousins, if you're the mom or the dad that always says, sure, I'll be happy to help you with that. I'll be happy to do this for you. I'll be happy to do that for you. And nobody ever returns the favor. There's going to be a change in that dynamic. And it doesn't have to be dark and bad and create arguments. I just feel like you're going to start to claim yourself in a much stronger way. Now, let me quickly talk about the idea that the moon cycles are changing. So because we had the two new moons in Aries in April, this May starts with a full moon. And then it will go into the new moon. Yes, it's a full moon lunar eclipse, but this cycle is going to continue for the next few months. I'm not sure when it ends. I think it's like in 3, 4, 5 months from now. But I want to offer it this way because I believe that what's happening is that the illumination offered by the full moon gives us more clarity when we're planting the seeds in the new moon. So what you garnish from this lunar eclipse in Scorpio in your third house, I'm sorry, the new moon is in your third house. The eclipse is in your ninth house. They're on an axis. The ninth house is the broad, philosophical, ideological, the big beliefs, the faith I have in myself, my religious beliefs. The third house represents my everyday thoughts and the everyday activities. So I believe that the eclipse happening in your ninth house is going to give you an opportunity when we see the new moon in your everyday house of your everyday life to start to rewrite something. At the time of the eclipse, the sun again is in a conjunction with Uranus, offering some kind of epiphany. It's as if a lightning bolt strikes and I suddenly realize something that I may have known all along, but it didn't hit me so clearly as it does now. And this feels further evidenced by the idea that Venus is in Gemini at 27 degrees, making a square to your first house. And Venus loves you. Venus loves Neptune, loves Pisces. And so this square is really not as tense, but it's Venus saying to Neptune, are you going to continue to look at everything through foggy eyes? Are you going to see things from a rosier side of the street when they're not really serving you? You deserve more, and you may not be getting it from the situation or the dynamic or the person. Venus is also making a sextile to Jupiter in Aries. Aries is all about the self, and Aries is your second house. So here, the second house naturally rules my self-worth and my family history and my skills. So here, Venus is really saying, let's put our wants and desires first. I know we've got other people that depend on us for our empathy and our compassion and always to listen to their sad story. But maybe today it's about putting their sad story on the back burner so that your happy story can be birthed. That's the way I want to put it. On the 7th of May, we see Venus entering Cancer. This is your 5th house of self-expression, of happy, fun. It's like game day. That's the way I want to put it. It's hobbies, it's entertainment, it's going to the movies, it's going to play miniature golf, it's going to the beach. It's all the fun things that you like to do. It's also the conception of children. So as Venus enters Cancer, if you are a Pisces who is wanting to bring little humans onto the planet, there is a good possibility that the conception of those children could take place at this time. And I want to offer it this way, because we are going to be, we're going into a new moon in Taurus, which is also Venus ruled. So this time of self-care, of allowing yourself a little bit of pleasure, a little bit of fun, a little bit of spending time in your creative endeavors will take some of the edges off some of the more challenging dynamics that are going to be coming up in the second half of the month. And I'm getting there in just a minute. On the 14th, one other thing I want to say about Venus in Cancer. I've been getting this strong feeling that this particular journey through Cancer, Venus may very much want to indulge in things of her childhood, nostalgia, things that make her feel like, oh, that was so much fun. If you have certain foods that your family ate during the holidays, or things you associate with nurturing and with feeling cared for and feeling loved, you may get cravings for those foods, those TV shows, and those experiences. Enjoy them. We have on the 14th, Mercury will go direct. It's been in retrograde for about 3 weeks. And this particular retrograde started with a conjunction to the moon. I was inspired in my meditation before I did my Mercury retrograde video to look at the exact time that Mercury would retrograde. And as fate would have it, it's with the moon exactly at 15 degrees Taurus, which made me think the 15th degree is the Gemini degree. And now I'm starting to use this retrograde to review how I take care of myself, how I feel nurtured, how I feel loved, how I display love, how I nurture other people. This feels extremely powerful to me because it's in Taurus, because Taurus rules my self-worth, and because Pisces is so empathetic, it's very easy to get on that slippery slope of caring for others more than you care for yourself. And I think Venus is going to remind you, as she's transiting Cancer, to care for yourself. We have on the 17th, Jupiter will enter Taurus. Again, Taurus is your 3rd house. This is a year-long journey of expansion, of implementing new philosophies, new ideas. There could be new business partners. Jupiter rules business, and so does the 3rd house. It rules our everyday activities, our workmates, our teammates. But before all that happens, Jupiter is going to make a square with Pluto retrograding in Aquarius, and it's starting to make a square with Mars in Cancer, and it will continue to make that square as Mars moves into Leo, and we are going to be experiencing a grand fixed square the second half of the month involving both Pluto and Mars. But before I get there, I want to talk about the new moon in Taurus at 28 degrees. This new moon makes wonderful aspects. It trines Pluto, it sextiles Mars as Mars is exiting Cancer. It is sextiling Neptune at the later degrees of Pisces, 27 degrees Pisces. So what information came through? What epiphanies? What lightning bolt? Wow, I didn't realize that was happening. And yet now I see it so clearly that the lunar eclipse revealed will now give you an opportunity to really plant seeds that are I almost feel like the seeds have already sprouted. It's not just planting a seed and hoping that the root grows. It's like I can already see a little bit of that root. Now I just want to push it a little further into the dirt, cover it up a little more, throw some fertilizer on it and a little water, and then trust that it's going to grow. I think this is really, really powerful. The 20th of May is when we really feel the tension of that grand fixed cross. So what we've got is Mars in Leo making an opposition to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Both are squaring the north and the south node. Now Jupiter is creeping up on the north node, which is making this desire for transformation really, really intense. It could even produce a bit of a frustration because things aren't moving fast enough. And the way that I perceive the opposition between Pluto and Mars is, Pluto's in Aquarius, which is revolutionary, liberating. And Mars is in Leo, which is all about the courage to express my heart. So here, this is really powerful because this is an opportunity to liberate you from maybe being overly of service to other people and not feeling seen. And you're such a creative, imaginative energy that feels like now it's time for it to be about me. And that south node in Scorpio is in your 9th house. So it's compelling you on some level to be egoless in transforming your beliefs, because the real challenging thing about Pisces is that there's the potential that you can feel, if you're not constantly giving to somebody else, that you're not lovable, or you won't be loved, or you'll be abandoned. And that's a belief that doesn't serve your true happiness. So here, I think that this is why this square is so fixed and so tight and so uncomfortable, because it's really about being brave to put yourself at a priority and see that when you do that, it gives you so much more energy to be there for other people. We have Mars officially entering Leo on the 21st, and the Sun will enter Gemini on the 21st. On the 24th, the Moon is going to trigger that grand fixed square as the Moon becomes conjunct Mars. And to me, this is like the pinball wizard, where the Moon hits Mars, Mars pings off to Pluto, Pluto pings off to the north node then pings down to the south node, and everybody feels like, oh, I feel almost as if I'm so sick of what has been, and I'm so ready for what is new. And I want to offer you, Pisces, that this frustration is actually a good thing, because it's a propellant. It's like putting fuel on the fire of your own creation. So it can be a really good thing. I also want to offer, if there are people that bug you, or that deplete you, or that are not honoring you as the way you need to be, I would not be around them on the 24th. I'd kind of try to avoid people that inflame me. And I want to double down on that on the 31st of May, because the Moon will then be conjunct the South Node in Scorpio. Again, this is your 9th house. Your newfound beliefs about yourself, you may be very excited about them. You may be wanting to share them with other people. And all of a sudden, somebody just throws a wet blanket on it and says, how are you going to do that? And what about this? And what about that? I want to kind of offer my Pisces a moment of kind of taking that lunar eclipse and that Scorpio secrecy and keeping things to yourself right now. Let them experience you versus having to hear your words. Because if you are giving them a concept that you are not comfortable with, or you have not tested enough to trust it, that inadvertently that concept could be eroded on this day, or around this day, as the Moon. I mean, it could be something as literally, it could be something like you tell your mom this new exciting thing you're going to do, and your mom says, that doesn't seem very fruitful, and it just deflates your excitement. So I want to offer, this is an opportunity to take the South Node and the dynamic of it being an egoless point to not edge God out, by looking to humans to validate your imaginations, your creativity, your new ventures, but rather to allow yourself the privilege of going into that bedroom and dreaming and being a little bit by yourself. And I don't mean it to being isolating, but in a way that allows those seeds that you planted to get strong roots, so that then they can witness the growth versus asking you how you're going to grow. Once that little sprout breaks the dirt and starts to reveal that it's got a viability as it grows, others will join you effortlessly, or at least with less resistance. And that will help you stay the course rather than swimming away and not allowing yourself this privilege. Because I think that there's a lot of I feel as if for my Pisces, there's a lot of music to be made. And I'm using that sort of as a metaphor, but there's a song in my head, and I feel like it's the song of your heart. And the more you're willing to express that out into the world, the more validation that you will get. But if you were to express it while you were still writing the song, people could chime in and derail your beautiful inspirations. So that's what I've got for you for my Pisces. Again, I want to kind of emphasize the idea that the moon phases haven't changed, but the structure of the full moon and the new moon have flopped, have given us an opportunity to really get a good, clear picture in that the light of the full moon, so that when we do go into a new endeavor, we have more information and more trust of our emotional body as we venture down that very unknown path. You know, when we birth something creative, we get very excited about it. And as we start to birth it to ourselves, that's one level. And then as it comes to fruition and it's time to birth it out into the masses, that's a whole new level of vulnerability. And that's why I think if you kind of keep things to yourself during this time, as Jupiter transits your third house and that new moon plants seeds in that Taurus energy, you could really see much more I want to say validation. I want to say evidence that my dreams are coming true. And all I get to do as a Pisces is to stay the course and enjoy a little bit of the roller coaster ride, because everything that we endeavor that's important to us and that we're emotionally invested in will have an up, it'll have a down, and oftentimes the down will give us the resources we need to get back up again. So everything is serving itself. I hope that made sense. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. If you'd like to book a reading with me, either an intuitive reading or an astrology reading, I am available. Please join me Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where I do angel readings and a tarot card reading for each one of the signs to get the angel's advice for traversing the week's transits, the week ahead's transits. All right, that's it. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, please share, and please hit that notification bell so you'll know when content has been uploaded. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Have a great May. I'll see you in June. Peace out.